What's up, fellow Hoops fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Last Shot NBA show here on Little Birdie TV. And as always, we are brought to you by our good friends at topsport.com.au. It's Monday morning. Monday morning means old mate Benyam Kidane from NBA Australia, BK. What's happening, my man?
I'm doing good, my man. How you living?
Living good, mate. Living good. Always living good. Healthy. You know, it's nothing to complain about. The Knicks are on a winning streak. Life is good.
Shout out Future.
Shout out to Future. BK, let's get into it, mate, because life is not all good in all parts of the NBA, especially over there in Lakers land. Now, the Lakers got battered yesterday by the Denver Nuggets. They were absolutely destroyed, 4-21 and 22 on the season. Magic Johnson lashed out at the Lakers, BK, for what he perceives as a lack of effort. Now, BK, you saw this. I saw this tweet here. Yeah, Magic Johnson said, after being blown out by the Nuggets 133-96, we as Lakers fans can accept being outplayed, but we deserve more than a lack of effort and no sense of urgency. Owner Genie Bus, you deserve better. BK, Magic Johnson's actually known for pretty generic tweets. So this was, it looked like it definitely was, you could feel the passion in this tweet, BK. What did you make of all this?
Man, they really got Magic flustered here. This is his vent tweeting at midnight after these games. But is he wrong? I don't necessarily disagree with Magic. I mean, the Lakers' effort has been pretty ordinary this season outside of LeBron James, who's kind of just doing everything for this team. But at this point in the season where we're nearly approaching the halfway mark, Anthony Davis is still some ways away. I don't necessarily think this is the finished product of the Lakers, but we're already getting to the halfway point of the season where it's like, all right, this may be what this team is.
Look, I've been saying that since the start of the season. I think this is what this team is. Yeah. Like, they're not good. They don't fit. The chemistry is not there. Yesterday they gave up 73 points in the first half, which is the most points they've given up in a half, I believe, all season. They've lost 3 in a row. Westbrook was actually hitting a few shots yesterday, but they've wasted like this absolutely amazing play and this amazing stretch from LeBron James. He had 25 and 9 again yesterday. But like you said, he's doing it all, and then everyone else is just kind of like along for the ride and hoping he can do it all. And he can't. He can, but not to the extent that they need him to.
Yeah, especially without Anthony Davis, the burden really is just kind of falling on LeBron James. And we are getting close to that February trade deadline. Do you think they maybe try and shake things up? Have they seen enough from this roster, or are they kind of hinging on, AD is going to come back and things will get better then?
No, I think Rob Pelinka is making phone calls from now. I think he knows now what this roster is. Like we said, we all know what this roster is. I definitely think Rob Pelinka is making some phone calls. Lakers feel like Davis could be back by the end of the month. So we'll see if he actually does, make it back. BK, I want to ask you before we jump off the Lakers, can the season be saved at this point, or is it too far gone?
Anything is possible, and especially given all the interruptions and things in this season don't flow as smoothly as seasons in the past. So I think there's still time to bring things around, just because you have LeBron James, and for me that's enough to give you hope. But yeah, the evidence we've seen so far is not great.
Yeah, look, I've always been that way inclined as well. If you've got LeBron James, it's always going to be enough. I don't think it's going to be enough this year because the rest of that roster is bad. I've been saying it since the beginning of the season. I'm going to continue saying it. I do think if the Lakers make the playoffs, they'll be very lucky to make the playoffs, because I think things are going to get much worse than they are now for whatever reason. Moving along, BK, some bad news right around the NBA. Unfortunately, the last 24 hours or so, Kevin Durant We got confirmation this morning. He had an MRI on his left knee. He will be out, I believe, 4 to 6 weeks, they're saying. He got injured yesterday midway through the second quarter when Bruce Brown fell back and fell into his knee inadvertently. So it was a left knee sprain. BK, he's been playing at such an MVP level this year. I think, averaging 29, 7.5 rebounds, 5.9 assists through his first 35 or so games. How does this absence now from the Nets over the next 4 to 6 weeks affect them?
This is a big one. Like you said, KD has been hooping for them. And when you're adding the added in and out absences of Kyrie Irving, this roster is already kind of a bit thin, with injuries and absences. Joe Harris is still to work his way back as well. They do have guys that can kind of come in and help. Guys like Patty Mills will probably go back into the starting lineup. But yeah, this is a tough one because now we kind of have to see James Harden be James Harden, and is that going to be enough to keep the Nets afloat with Curry coming in and out? They are in a real danger of maybe sliding down the standings here a little bit as they continue to chase the Bulls.
Yeah, I agree with you. You say James Harden's going to have to be James Harden. The thing is, he hasn't been James Harden for consistent periods this year, has he? Like he's had stretches where we see the old James Harden, 3-4 games, and then he goes back to the new James Harden, I guess. I could see the Nets, I could see them falling down. And the thing is, they've got 11 of their next 14 games away from the Barclays Center. So that means Kyrie Irving is going to be eligible to play those. So they're at least going to have 2 of their big 3 for the next, 2 to 3 weeks, it would seem. But it's going to be tough, though, BK. It's going to be tough. I don't know.
I still think James Harden can play at that level, especially without Kevin Durant on the court, because he does sacrifice so much in terms of running the offense through KD. If he's kind of got the ball in his hands, we saw how well he played alongside Kyrie Irving last season when Kyrie went to the 2 and James kind of controlled the offense. As long as you have a guy like Claxton in the middle, a guy who you can run pick and rolls with James Harden, I still think he can play at that level. Just he has to have the ball in his hands to do that. So without KD, that does give him a good shot. But, it's the Eastern Conference is not the old Eastern Conference. There's some real teams out there.
No, I would even argue the Eastern Conference is better than the Western Conference this year. And just for some context as well, KD had a similar injury a few years back, and he ended up missing 19 games when he was still on the Warriors, when Zaza Pachulia actually fell into his knee. So I guess the moral of the story here is for KD, get some better teammates, because these guys are just keep falling into you. BK, next guy we're going to talk about, I know you're a big fan of this guy, actually. Anthony Simons over there with the Portland Trail Blazers. Doesn't get a lot of national talk, doesn't grab a lot of sort of headlines, but he's been balling out this year. BK, he had a career high 43 a couple of weeks ago. He's been averaging just under 15 points, 3.2 assists, 2.6 rebounds, been playing some real quality minutes for the Portland Trail Blazers, and he's been producing, hasn't he?
This guy's averaging 28 and 8 on 50, 45, 90 through the month of January. That's more points than KD, more assists than Ja Morant. This guy's just a hooper. He's been killing for the Portland Trail Blazers. And it comes at an interesting time for the Blazers, because we don't really know what the future of this roster is going to look like, whether a trade for Dame or CJ is kind of coming. But I know you can see it on Blazers Twitter. Simons has kind of got the fans hyped that this could kind of be the guy if they do go in that direction. This is the guy they want to hang on to.
You know what? That was actually my next question to you. He's been playing so well, right? And obviously that whole situation with Dame and CJ McCollum, we don't know what's going to happen with those two. Do they stay? Do they get traded? Whatever happens. Is he making the other Blazers guys obsolete at this point with his play?
At this stage, yeah. He's been given the opportunity to play, which he hasn't necessarily had in the past, just because of the guys they've had out. But he's definitely taken his moment. I really like this kid. He's just a pure scorer. He's athletic as anyone in the league. But I still just don't really know what this Portland Trail Blazers team is. Are they still trying to be good? Damian Lillard, he's out for an extended period of time. It's kind of just this weird treading water right now for the Portland Trail Blazers. But he definitely has been the shining light for them this season when there hasn't really been too much to cheer for out there.
I think he's the lone thing to cheer for out there right now because I don't know what to make of the Blazers either. I've been saying this all season as well. I don't know what the hell is going on over there. But shout out to Anthony Simons, man, because I think he was a late first round pick, or was it early second?
I believe so, yeah. And dunk contest champion as well.
Yes, shout out to him, man, just making the most of his opportunities. And he's got a big future lined up for him. BK, we're going to move on to buying or selling. And we're talking Joelle Embiid here, having an absolute monster stretch. We've mentioned it a couple of times already on this show. He's having an absolute monster stretch over the last 10 or 11 games for the Philadelphia 76ers. So Joelle Embiid, is he the best player in the world right now? Are you buying or selling this, BK?
If right now we're talking about today, then I've got to say yes. I wouldn't say he's had the best season, but this 2, 3, 4 week stretch that he's had since coming back, I don't know if you could argue there's been anybody playing better or more consistently than him. He scored 30 in 10 straight road games. The Sixers, it wasn't too long ago, the Sixers could barely win outside of Wells Fargo Center. Now they have the most road wins in the league, and he's just been killing teams. We saw him do it yesterday against the Miami Heat. Not an easy place to go, regardless of who's out there on the floor. But Joel Embiid is definitely papering over a lot of issues in Philadelphia because he's just playing at such a high level.
BK, I'm not buying it at all. I'm selling it. I'm selling it. And you know who I'm selling this for, actually? Giannis Antetokounmpo. I still think Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best player in the world. Sure, Embiid's had a great 2-week stretch. You're talking about today, as of today, right now. I'm talking about what this whole season has been so far, and I've still got to go with my guy, Giannis. I think if you're picking a guy to carry a team, to lead a team, to do it on both ends of the floor consistently, you can't go wrong with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Call me biased.
Hey, we're talking about today. The Sixers have won 9 of their last 10. The Bucks, not so much.
You've got me on that one there. But I still think, look, this has been a great 2-week, 3-week stretch or whatever it's been from Embiid. I can't deny that. He's been absolutely incredible. But I don't think a 2 to 3 week stretch makes you the best in the world. I believe it's consistency over a longer period of time. And you got to give it to my guy, Giannis, for that one there.
Yeah, I'm not talking about a long period of time. I'm talking about today.
Look, if it's today and today only, yeah, I got to give it to you.
Yesterday and tomorrow, and that's it.
And that's it. All right. I got to give it to you on that one there, BK. All right, let's close out with some predictions as we always do. Pretty quiet NBA schedule today. Already been one game. The Phoenix Suns absolutely clobbered the Detroit Pistons. BK, there was an incident with Cade Cunningham as well, I believe.
Yeah, and they're getting ejected for a dunk. That should be illegal. This guy threw down a nice reverse jam, just did a little point out to the ether, or maybe in the direction of the play he dunked on. Picked up his second technical and got tossed. That's I don't like this. You're allowed to have fun playing basketball. Yeah,
facts. Let's not turn this into the old NFL no fun league. Let's let these guys enjoy the emotion of the moment, BK. So the 3 games on the schedule, we're going to start off with a couple of teams that you and I are not really big fans of watching. The Houston Rockets and the Sacramento Kings here. Sacramento Kings, $1.53 favorites. Houston Rockets, $2.62. Lines at -4. Their total is at 238.5. Live on NBA League Pass, BK. Kings have won 2 in a row. Home records, 12-14. Rockets still bottom of the West. They're 5-19 away from home. What do we call it? You had the Aussie Bowl last week. Then you had the Josh Bowl. What do we call this one, BK? Is this one the toilet bowl?
You took it out of my mouth. But yeah, I got to go with the Sacramento Kings here just because the Rockets are bad. And the Kings have shown that on their day, they can actually beat really good teams. So there's no reason they're not going to win this game.
Yeah, BK, I couldn't have said it better myself, my friend. I'm going with the Kings as well. The Rockets are bad. Let's move on to the next game. We've got the Golden State Warriors, Minnesota Timberwolves, BK. Timberwolves $1.56 favorites here. Warriors 256. Lines at -4.5. Totals at 215. Also live on NBA League Pass. Now, the Wolves are favorites, BK, for a reason, because Steph Curry's out with a hand injury. Draymond's still out. Gary Payton II is questionable for this game. All these absences likely tilts this game into Minnesota's favor. I think only Jordan McLaughlin out for the Wolves. Jalen now back. So they've pretty much got a full squad on deck. I agree with the money on this one here. I think the Wolves win it.
Yeah, I put my faith in the G League Warriors too many times, and they've burnt me. So I'll go with the healthy roster in Minnesota.
Yep, 2 out of 2 so far today, BK. Last game on deck, which is probably the best game on the slate today. Utah Jazz, Denver Nuggets. Jazz $1.45 favorites. Nuggets 286. The line is at 6. Totals at 223. This one's live on SBS Viceland. Nuggets coming off a big win yesterday, as we spoke about, against the Lakers. So they're playing on the second night of a back-to-back. They've won 2 in a row. They're only 1 game back from Dallas in the 5th seed there. No Austin Rivers for the Nuggets. Jazz have lost 4 in a row, BK, and they've slipped the 4th in the West behind the Memphis Grizzlies. No Hassan Whiteside for the Jazz. BK, who do you like in this one?
Second night of a back-to-back is tough for the Nuggets. So I'm going to go with the Utah Jazz in this one.
Yeah, you know what, BK? I'm with you. We've both gone 3 out of 3. So if we're going down, we're going down together. I also like the Jazz to win that one there. BK, it's been fun as always. We're going to see you again on Friday morning. Enjoy the week, my brother. Enjoy the NBA games. Have a good one. This has been another episode of the Last Shot NBA show here on Little Birdie TV, brought to you by our good friends at topsport.com.au, and we'll see you guys on Wednesday.